It is a beautiful day today. It is hard to believe that it is already September, but here we are in the beginning of September. My kids started school just a couple days ago, so we are trying to get back into the fall routine. With fall, also, at least for me, comes some fall planting. Over the past few weeks, I have been able to collect some beautiful plants that I want to share with you today and hopefully get as many of them as possible into the ground. So let's just dive in and I will show you what I've got and then we will get to planting. The first grouping of plants that I want to show you is this gorgeous grouping of Rudbeckia. Black-eyed Susan is the more common name. I do have a bunch of these over in my main flower border. I received all of them from my mom. They were all splits, and I'm pretty sure that they are the Goldstrom variety, which is very common. I'm not completely sure on that, but that's my best guess. I love them. I love the just bright splash of color that they give mid to late summer. I think that they're just a classic look and beautiful. However, the ones that I have, they are the Goldstrom. They really tend to flap on me. And this year they were very, very floppy and just never really looked good. And in that border, because I have such a small space, I really want to play around with different varieties that are hopefully a little more tidy, a little stronger, more upright, just something that will really stand out better in that whole section. So I'm gonna be trialing some different varieties of Rudbeckia. I went to an amazing perennial farm really close to my house, right next to my church that I go to. It's called PowWow's Perennials, and they are a wholesale perennial nursery. They are only open to the public one weekend a month, usually a Friday and a Saturday. So I was able to go this past month at the end of August and just pick up a couple of varieties that I hadn't been able to find in some of my other local garden centers. Now I did find this tall variety right here is called the Indian Summer Rudbeckia. I did find this up in Lancaster at one of my other favorite greenhouses, Shady Grove. They had just these beautiful Rudbeckia. I think that they are so gorgeous. I love the large flower head on these. They are it's probably about a 4-inch or 5-inch flower head. They just are so beautiful. Now these Indian Summer variety are what we would consider a tender perennial, or I think another name for that is a temperennial, which is something that may or may not come back for you each year. So my plan is to try these out in my garden and collect seed from them as the season goes on and the flower heads start to die, so that I have some seed to start over the winter using the winter sowing method, and just also see if they do self-sow for me and come back in the spring. So it will be a good experiment. I think that these would be beautiful in my main flower border over there. They would really stand out. They are very sturdy and upright. They can get up to 3 feet tall, which would be a perfect height for over there. So this is the first Rudbeckia variety that I am going to try. And then I'm going to move these over to the side a little bit. Now this one, unfortunately, is mostly out of bloom, but this is one that I did pick up from PowWow's. This is I forget how to say it, but the common name is the Deems coneflower. So it's Rudbeckia diamii. I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation. This Rudbeckia is known for its sturdiness. It's known to be a lot more sturdy than the Goldstrom variety. It is known to be more disease resistant than the Goldstrom because of its, I think the foliage is hairier, has more of a texture, so it is more resistant to like the leaf spot issues that certain Rudbeckia can get. And it is more, or I should say it's a better attractor of pollinators. I have not noticed hardly any pollinators on my Goldstrom Rudbeckia. I never see bees or butterflies swarming around them, which is kind of a bummer. So I'm really looking forward to trying this Deems coneflower to see if it attracts more pollinators, if it's a little bit more sturdy and upright for me. It also can get 3 feet, maybe more feet tall, which would be really nice for that border as well. So this is another one that I'm going to be trialing. And then finally, this is called an American Gold Rush Rudbeckia. I have really been looking forward to trying this. I've seen several people talking about it online. This is a beautiful Rudbeckia that stays a little bit on the shorter side than the Goldstrom variety. It can maybe top out around 2 feet tall, but it's just a more compact Rudbeckia with a very upright growth habit, very strong, sturdy stems. Again, it is known to be more disease resistant than the Goldstrom. So I am really excited to try this. Now I only got one of this one and one of the Diamii or Deems coneflower. I am just planning to see how they do in my garden and then split them, divide them as I go along. I did succumb to the beauty of this Indian summer, and I did get 3 of these. So, and they were a lot cheaper than these guys because I found these up in Lancaster, and the prices tend to be amazing up there. So this is my collection of Rudbeckia that I am planning to get in the ground today, and let me show you what else I have. Next, I have 2 PowWow wildberry coneflower. I already had added some of these to my main flower border to my left, but 2 of them died. So I just have not had much luck with coneflower. I'm not really sure why. I also did purchase a packet of seeds for these for next year so that I can winter sow some in case I have some that don't make it over the summer. And I may also just trial the standard Echinacea purpurea variety, just the tall kind of purpley pink variety. I have had luck with that in my previous home. It did fantastic. I don't know if maybe that would just take off better in that border. So we're just gonna give these another try for this next year. I picked these up at my greenhouse in Lancaster, the Shady Grove greenhouse as well, and they were just a really inexpensive price, so I didn't feel too badly about buying 2 more. So I am going to add 2 more of these into my garden today. And then I also have some Anise hyssop. This is an Agastache perennial. This is a big attractor of bees and butterflies. I really want to attract more butterflies into my garden. I have done fairly well at attracting hummingbirds this year. I really focused on some things that attract hummingbirds, but I have been a little bit disappointed about the number of butterflies that I've seen. I really have not seen a whole lot of butterflies, which has been a disappointment to me. Last year I did see more, and I think it's because I had more zinnias blooming earlier in the season. This year my zinnias got munched down by rabbits, so they really are just now starting to take off and bloom, and I still am just not seeing a ton. I did see a very beautiful small one this morning that I did get footage of, which you probably already saw. I'm actually not sure the variety of that one, but it was really pretty. So I really want to be a little more intentional about adding adding plants that attract butterflies. I just love attracting pollinators into my garden. I think that it is so cool to come out and just see the bees and the butterflies and the hummingbirds just swarming all around. I live in a typical suburban neighborhood where there just isn't a lot going on in the way of gardens and just flowers and plants. So if I can attract as many of those things as possible into my yard where I typically would not see them in this area, I will be thrilled. And maybe, who knows, maybe start a trend for my neighborhood and encourage other people to plant the same plants. So this is the, like I said, it's the Anise hyssop agastache. It has these beautiful purple flowers that are just really long spikes of kind of lavender, almost bluish flower heads. I think that what I really wanted to get was the Blue Fortune variety, which is a little bit of a more sterile variety. It doesn't spread quite as much as this native variety. I'm pretty sure this is just the straight native plant. So we will just have to see how it does. We'll see how it behaves in my garden, how it looks. I think that the bloom heads might be a little bit smaller than the Blue Fortune variety. I'm not sure. Let me know if you've grown agastache, if you've grown this variety, and how it does for you. If you have the Blue Fortune variety or the straight native, I would love to know how you have experienced that in your garden. So I have 2 of these that I'm going to be adding over into my main border. I also picked up this anemone. It's called Anemone September Charm. This is a beautiful anemone. I also got this from Cabanos, which I did also get the agastache from Cabanos. I forgot to say that. This is, I believe, similar to an anemone that I always see at one of our local gardens, Ladue Gardens. I put out a video of Ladue a few weeks ago, I believe, and they have these gorgeous pink anemone. I can never say that word correctly. This time of year in the late summer, fall time frame that just are everywhere. They are so pretty. They probably get around 3 to 4 feet tall, and they just kind of spread and meander all throughout their borders. I just think they are the prettiest thing ever. I am going to try to add this down into my shadier border, which is right behind me, and just see how it does. I only bought one because they do spread. They can spread by, I believe, underground rhizomes, but they aren't terrible to keep under control. I think that they're pretty easy to dig up and move around wherever you want them. But I would love it if this would take over down in my shadier bed and just kind of create this meandering sea of pink flowers in the late summer to fall. I really am missing color down there and just variety in plants, so I really want to be more intentional about adding in different perennials and plants that thrive in the kind of partial shade to shade conditions. This anemone is definitely one that prefers a little bit more shade. I do have some Fall in Love Sweetly anemone, which is a proven winners variety, and that one can handle a little bit more sun, but I think that this one would do better in a little bit of shade. So I believe that this hopefully will do well in that corner down there. So I'm gonna get this in the ground today. And then I picked up a hosta that I've really wanted for so long. This is an autumn frost hosta. This is a proven winners plant. I also found this at Cabanos. I just think that this color, the coloring on this hosta is so pretty and really will brighten up my shady area behind me. I only got one, but I would really like to add a lot more of this variety. I just think that it is so pretty, and again, that it's kind of like a yellowish, almost green bluish foliage. I think will just stand out so nicely. I most likely will try to buy some more of these in the spring, and then I also will hopefully be able to divide them as time goes on. But this is just, every time that I see it, anybody, you know, on YouTube or online who has it, I just think that it looks so beautiful. And this is a little bit, I think it's a little bit more on the compact side. I believe it gets, well, it says spacing is 24 inches. So I think that it maybe tops out around 2 feet wide or so, maybe a little bit less. So it's really just a nice kind of more tidy, compact hosta, which I like for my shady border because, again, I have a really small yard and not a lot of room. So I really can't handle, you know, things that get too massive. But it does say that it's medium-sized mound of showy frosty blue leaves with extra wide bright yellow margins. So there you go. Oh, and it also says the margins lighten to creamy white and it has light lavender flowers in the summer. So that'll be really pretty. So that, I think, is my whole plant haul. And I also am thinking about putting my Jacob Klein bee balm into my border today. I will show you that if I can get to it, but for right now, let's just start with these things and see how far we can get today. I almost forgot, I have one more plant. This is just a native milkweed plant. As I was saying before, I'm really trying to be more intentional about planting things that attract butterflies, that are host plants for butterflies and just plants for them to feed off of. Now this is a host plant for monarch butterflies. I know that for sure. Probably other butterflies as well. It is not the showiest plant, and it already is covered in aphids. So I'm gonna have to deal with that. And it is susceptible to powdery mildew, which it also already has. So it can be prone to, you know, a lot of issues. But I just bought one and I'm just gonna stick it. I'm not exactly sure where I'm gonna put it yet, but I'm just curious if it helps to attract more butterflies into my garden. And it just has some, you know, some basic white flowers, so it's not the showiest of plants, but I think that it's still worth a try. I really like adding a combination of you know, ornamental plants and native plants into my garden. I think that I could do a better job of having more of a balance of both. So this is a step in the right direction. So there's the milkweed. Let's start with the Indian summer Rudbeckia. I carried them out here to my side yard around my air conditioning unit. I think that they look really pretty right here in front of my rhododendron where I don't have anything else going on. And right beside my autumn joy sedum right here that is buzzing with pollinators right now. You can see that it's started to bloom. Definitely a pollinator magnet, this plant is. And I have raspberry ripple zinnias, which I really think I'd like to carry over in front of my other rhododendron or some kind of profusion zinnias because they do so well and are so beautiful. And then my Thomas Edison dahlia right here that is doing amazing. So I think that these Indian summer Rudbeckia, oh, and my sunflowers, do you see my desert sun sunflowers? Look how pretty they are. They are doing so well. I have another round to go in the ground. I also need to have time, make some time to do that, but hopefully I'll have sunflowers for the remainder of the season. So yeah, oh, everything is so pretty. I have the gate closed because of my dog, but oh my gosh, just looking down into that border. Here, let me open it up and make sure that she's inside, and I'll just show you a quick glimpse of just that Indian summer Rudbeckia looking down into the border. You can see a little bit better now. I guess it's still hard to see, but I love it. I think that it'll look really great as you look down my side yard and into my main flower border. So let's go ahead and get these in the ground. The roots are really root bound on these plants, so I'm just kind of roughing them up a little bit just to help them to establish a little bit better. I don't do that for all of my plants if the roots are not root bound, but for these I will. So my plan is to keep my other Rudbeckia, the gold strum, which I think they are, over in my main border, and just trial these plants to see how they do. And next year I'm definitely going to be splitting the gold strum in that border, possibly just keeping them there for another season, and just kind of giving these perennials or perennials some time to see just how they do, and if it's something that I may eventually want to replace the gold strum with. So that was kind of my thought process that I don't think I totally explained very well in the beginning. This is how I find all of my rocks. I've been slowly collecting rocks to line my flower bed in there. We have so many rocks in our soil. This is where we found all of the rocks that are on our property. We have big rocks around our fire pit. Those all came from our tiny little yard here. So another one to add to my collection. I'm just running into a lot of small stones, probably from when they built our house, I'm guessing, around the foundation, but very, very rocky soil right here. Your job is ever as easy as you think it will be, right? If I really wanted to, I could even split these in threes because there's actually 3 plants in each of these containers. I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's 1, 2, and 3. But I'm just gonna leave them all together because I want a nice full look right along here for the next month or so. These are looking a little waterlogged because I just watered them. I guess I should have done them before I watered them, but they are so pretty. I think they add this nice pop of color to the side. I don't know how long they're gonna last, but it'll be good to see and good to experiment with. I did already break a poor little stem right there. That was my own fault. I'm kind of mad at myself for doing that, but I'm gonna enjoy these for the next few weeks or however long they last. I'm gonna bring these black-eyed Susan American Gold Rush over here. I have this bed right here that has my hollies. These are Dragon Lady hollies, and I have this beautiful Oh So Easy red rose, and these zinnias. These are profusion zinnias that I put in. These are annuals, some ageratum lining the front of the border. So a lot of this is annuals. I have some autumn joy sedum over here and some honeysuckle right there, a lavender, some coneflower that I'm saving from the rabbits. But I think that this will look nice right here for the season, if I can get it to stand up. Whoops. Okay, I think I'm just gonna stick it right in there, right behind the zinnias and ageratum and right in front of the rose. I think that'll just brighten up this bed for the rest of this season. I am, I guess, what you would call an all-color gardener. I don't really stick to a specific color scheme. I just kind of try to incorporate as many colors as I can into a bed. My front, I have not done that necessarily yet. I've kind of stuck to purples, pinks, and whites out there and some yellows, but I plan to work on that. But for the back here, I've really been thinking about, you know, all the different colors that I can add to a bed that kind of go off at different times of the season. So in this bed, I'm going to have the purple from the blue ageratum, purpley blue, and the orange from the zinnias. yellow from this Rudbeckia. Ooh, I see some bulbs. I'm not sure. Uh-oh. I think those might have been daffodils. I am going to try to relocate them. I run into that a lot because I forget where I plant my bulbs. So anyway, I guess I'm missing red and white. So I will work on that over time, but it's kind of how I like to think about it. Just like, what color don't I have in here that I could add? Wow, I have a lot of bulbs that were in here that I'm gonna need to figure out where to put them. Oh my gosh, I think I am smelling that lavender. It smells so good. I'm not even that close to it, but it smells so good. I cut it back earlier just to cut out any woody growth, and it's already starting to flush back out for me. I think I'm actually just gonna stick these bulbs right in front of the Rudbeckia. I'm just gonna clump them together. I'm pretty sure these are daffodil bulbs. You really like that there. I think that I am really gonna like that variety. I can tell by its form and its shape that I think I'm really gonna like it. But this is gonna be so nice when this fills out, this autumn joy sedum, when the honeysuckle is in full bloom. That's a first year plant, so not looking the greatest. And then I really do like this combination of ageratum and the fire profusion zinnia in the front here. I think I may repeat that next year, and that lavender might take off. And I'm not sure if the coneflower will stay, but we'll see. And this rose is doing fabulous. That is going to be beautiful as it continues to grow. But yes, I think I'm really going to like this here. I'm excited for it to grow and just to be able to divide it, move it around. So that is the American Gold Rush. I am going to put the Deems coneflower over here in my side yard where I don't have a lot going on at all. And really, this is just to see how it does. I'm not probably going to keep it here unless I really like it and I split it and move it down the border here. But I am really trialing it for my main flower border as well. So I'm just going to put it here next to my Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone and the incredible hydrangeas. And I'll just see how it comes back next year and how it performs for me. The Deems Rudbeckia is in, just a few blooms left. Next year I'll be able to see it do its thing and trial it, see how it does. I think it looks nice next to that Fall in Love Sweetly Anemone. Someday I would really like to get this whole side yard filled out with perennials and who knows what else, but for now it's a little bit sparse, but I'll get to it eventually. But now I have Rudbeckia in almost every corner of my yard. So lots of Rudbeckia trialing going on in the next few years. I'm gonna take this Autumn Frost hosta and the anemone, and I'm gonna take it down here to my shady corner and see where I'm gonna put this beautiful hosta to brighten up this little spot down here. I have kind of a repetition of hostas back in here. I have an elegant and a blue halcyon, wee hosta, and some brilliance autumn ferns. And then over here, kind of a repeat, except think that one is a prairie sky hosta. It's another blue one. They've lost their blue color with the summer heat, unfortunately. And then this is a Wiggles and Squiggles. And I thought I would just stick this autumn frost hosta right in there just for this season. Next year, I'm really gonna have to divide a lot of this. That's a Woo La La right back there, really big one. They have outgrown this little space here, so I will probably be rearranging quite a bit in the fall, but I'm just gonna put that right there for right now. The autumn frost hosta is in. I am so excited to see that grow and add more to this border. I think that is going to be such a nice addition to this area and just really brighten it up. I am going to add this anemone right here to the front of my bed. I don't know, if it'll stay here, and if it does well, I am going to end up dividing it and just spreading it all around throughout this area. Whoops, more daffodils. Oh gosh. I'm gonna be looking to replace. These are hostas that I split from my front porch, but I'm just really not liking them. They were here when we moved in, and I don't know, they're just the standard hosta that they just start to look terrible as the summer goes on. They have like no resistance to heat or sun or bugs or anything, and just, I don't know, they're just kind of a placeholder right now, a free placeholder in my garden until I can get something different. So maybe some more autumn frost hosta. Let's take this PowWow wildberry coneflower over to my main border here and find out where the two died. I think there was a dead one right here. So I have this grouping of coneflower, black-eyed Susans that are on their way out, daisies. This is an orange Nefophia, and this is an elephant ear that is really struggling. So I have this little grouping kind of repeated all down this border of daisies, black-eyed Susans, the Nefophia, and the coneflower. So I'm just gonna go through and replace the two that died on me. I'm going to try not to crush my perfusion zinnias right here. That would not be good. I really can't wait for this whole border to fill out more so that I'm not seeing as much of this dirt. I don't like the dirt. I just want to see plants. We did mulch this in the spring, but I can't help but continue to plant and dig and just mess up the mulch. wildberry coneflower are in. They hopefully will grow a little bit bigger next year. Just have them tucked in with the black-eyed Susans. These are the ones that I'm unsure about, that are very floppy. I have some Strawberry Fields Gamphrena that is struggling to grow right next to them, and some catmint and some dahlias and lamb's ear. And I'm going to show you real quick where I'm thinking of putting the agastache. So I've had these elephant ears right here for this year that did not do anything for me. Unfortunately, they almost died twice because of lack of water when I was on vacation. And I was going to leave them in the ground, but I'm not sure if I am anymore. They are rated down to a zone 7, and I thought, well, I could see how they come back next year, if they come back bigger and better. This is the Redemption Elephant Ear. I can't remember if I just said that or not. I lose my train of thought so quickly. But I just go back and forth if I want that foliage, that bold foliage, which I really do enjoy in this border, or if I want to add more plants that really attract the pollinators for this side. So I have the dark foliage with the dahlias that I plan to continue next year, and maybe add one right here where this Gamphrena is, another HS date. And then I was thinking of putting the agastache right in between the PowWow coneflower and this grouping of daisies. That's a daisy that's out of bloom, and putting it right in there where I just had it, right behind this zinnia. Sorry, it's a little hard to tell here. And then behind the agastache, I was thinking of adding my Jacob's Klein bee balm that is red, and it can get up to 5 feet tall, so it would be taller than these black-eyed Susans, and kind of fill in the space right here in front of the Rose of Sharon. And that is a major pollinator attractor. So that's what I'm debating, if I want to move the bee balm here and take out the elephant ear, use the elephant ear somewhere else. So that's, I don't know, that's my idea. But I think that I may hold off on actually adding the agastache at the moment until I really decide if I want to take out the elephant ear. And it's getting late, so I think I need to go inside and do, you know, evening family stuff. So I have the other agastache right there. So those are my thoughts. And I realized I forgot to plant. My poor milkweed is getting forgotten about. So let me just go show you real quick where I'm gonna put that. Also, before I show you my milkweed, let me show you my bee balm that I'm talking about. This is my Jacob's Klein bee balm right here. It is red and it's flopping over majorly right now. I just have it in a container, but this is what I'm thinking of adding to my perennial border. So it will get a lot taller than this. It's in a raised pot right now, raised container. So just for a visual, let's go see where the milkweed is now. Back over in my holly bed, I decided to just put it right here next to my rose for right now. This is kind of a holding bed for me, and we'll see if I come up with a better idea next year, but that'll at least allow it to overwinter. I feel like the rose may get a little too big for the milkweed to really thrive right there, but we will see. Well, I'm gonna call it a night. It is getting late. The sun is going down. It feels so nice out here, but I need to go inside and get dinner and do all of the nighttime family stuff. So I hope that you enjoyed following me around today and just seeing some of the things that I got to plant in my garden for the fall. Let me know, are you guys planting anything? Do you have anything waiting in the wings to go into the ground? I'd love to know. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.